Welcome to Biology My Passion. I am Soumya Harikrishna. We have been dealing with the chapter Life Processes. In the previous video, we discussed transportation in human beings. Today, we are going to learn transportation in plants. Do plants require transportation? Of course, they need a transportation system because we learned photosynthesis. For that, many raw materials are required. So the food prepared in the leaf should be transported to different parts. At the same time, for the requirements like minerals or water, plants have only one source. What is that? Soil. So from the soil, the minerals like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, all these have to be taken in. And also water should be taken from soil and to be transported to the leaves where photosynthesis takes place. So for this, a transportation system is required. But in very small plants, for example, a small plant I have drawn here, the soil is the source of all these raw materials. The leaf and the distance between the leaf and the soil contacting organ. What is the soil contacting organ? Roots. Roots are mainly responsible for absorption. So, if the distance is less, diffusion is sufficient for transportation. So, they don't need a special system in very small plants. But when the plant is huge or very tall like trees, the distance between the leaves where the photosynthesis takes place and the roots which absorb the nutrients is very huge. So in such case, a proper system should be there for transport. Though the transportation system is slower compared to humans or animals. Why? Because plants have low energy needs. Are plants moving around like us in search of food, shelter? No. So their energy requirement is less. So they need a slow transport system, but still a system is required. So for that, there are well-defined tubes. In our body we learn blood vessels are carrying blood. The same way in plants, fine tubules called vascular bundles are carrying the substances in plants. So which are the substances? Prepared food from the leaf to different parts of the body and from the roots, raw materials or water and minerals to the leaves. So the transport is done by vascular bundles. Vascular bundles are of two types, xylem and phloem. In 9th standard you learned the components of xylem and phloem. Xylem, first xylem tracheids. Tracheids means what? They are long tubes but with the tapering ends. So here it's opening so that another one will be connected like this. So from the root till the leaf, these tubes are connected. Just like how we are keeping one straw after the other connecting to form a long tube. The same way, but the tracheids have tapering ends. And they have some holes also for sideways conduction. Because it's not that water is taken from the root and till the leaf, there is no other part. All the parts need water, so sideways conduction is also important. But when it comes to vessels, they are like this, but they are cylindrical. So they don't have tapering ends. Both ends are open, of course, because transport should take place. So this is vessel. Whereas parenchyma are actually mainly for sideways conduction and storage. Fibers are mainly for support. So xylem, most of the cells are dead. Only xylem parenchyma is living. Now look at the components of phloem. Phloem has seed tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, phloem fibers. In phloem, only fibers is dead, rest of all cells are living. So this, if you are taking, this is the sieve tube. Why is it called sieve? Sieve means what? We are using strainer, right? We are using to filter. So there are plates like this. So it has sieves through which the food can pass. So it is called a sieve tube. Tube with a sieve plate. Then companion. Companion means what? Friend, right? So here also there is a cell always like a friend near it. And sieve tubes don't have nucleus. So companion cell will be controlling the sieve tube. Then phloem parenchyma, again sideways conduction and storage, and phloem fibers mainly for support. If you see the differences in the conduction in xylem and phloem, xylem conducts water and minerals, whereas phloem conducts food. Food means prepared product of photosynthesis. Whereas xylem always it is upward conduction from root till it reaches the leaf. Whereas in phloem it is in both the directions, because sometimes food prepared from the leaf should go to roots where it needs to be stored, and later at times the stored food may have to reach other parts of the plant in an upward direction. So both the direction conduction happens in phloem. Now let us discuss transport of water. So transport of water has two phases. First, from the soil, water has to come inside the root. Only then xylem can take it to the leaves. So, first step is absorption of water and minerals, because both are taken together, and then upward conduction of this water and minerals. So, we know that absorption, what is the source? Soil. So, here the soil particles are there. Soil has minerals and water. Minerals are present in the form of ions. What are ions? Ions means charged particles. And water is also present in different forms in soil. So first what happens in the root itself, there are unicellular extensions of the root. Suppose if I draw here, many very fine unicellular extensions are there. They are called a root hair. So ultimately, root hairs are absorbing water and minerals from the soil. In smaller classes you learn roots absorb water and minerals. It is correct. But precisely which part of the root? Root hairs. So, if I enlarge one root hair cell here, okay, only one cell thick. So, this is outside. From here, first what happens? The ions or the minerals are taken in actively. There is a word in the textbook, actively. It is very important. Actively means what? By spending energy. Energy in the form of ATP. So, plants have to spend some energy to take the ions inside, because whenever something is going from higher concentration to lower concentration, energy is not required. But in the opposite direction, lower to higher concentration, energy is required. So here also, first step is active absorption of ions. Suppose I draw ions with a red color. So these are the ions now inside the cell. So once ions are inside the cell, they act as solute. So what happens? Inside the condition becomes hypertonic. Solute concentration is high, water concentration is less. Now where is water more? Outside water more, or in the soil water is more. So now water will move inside by osmosis. We know movement of water molecules from region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration through semi-permeable membrane is called a osmosis. So blue dots show water molecules. So water molecules also came inside. Okay. So this is how absorption takes place. First, from the soil, minerals in the form of ions are taken up actively by the root hair, so that the concentration increases. To compensate that, water also flows inside the root hair by the process of osmosis. Now we have to think about upward conduction. So from the root hair, it will come to xylem. So xylem is forming a continuous tube like this going up. Which component of xylem? The tracheids and vessels, because the other two are mainly for support and sideways conduction. So upward conduction, two elements are mainly required, tracheids and vessels. So they both are hollow. Through them the water will go up. Now how can the water go up? Upward conduction can happen by three processes. One we already discussed, diffusion. That means if the plant is very small or short, then by diffusion water can reach the leaves. In tall plants or trees, root pressure and transpiration pull are doing a major role in upward conduction of water. So let us discuss one by one. Root pressure. So we learned water is coming inside from water and minerals, how it is coming inside the xylem. So you know, when more and more water is entering, pressure is increasing. It will push the water in the xylem column upward like this. So more entering, again. More water, again. So this way it is a pushing force. a pushing force, that more and more water entering into the xylem from the root will push the water column upwards. But here it is like, suppose there is a tap. From that, using a hose, we are taking water for maybe gardening purpose, right? So initially there is no water. So the moment we open, more and more water coming from here will push the water in the hose and water will come out. So that is called a root pressure. It's a kind of pushing force, but here it is upward. So we know when more and more water coming, so this column is becoming bigger and bigger or heavier and heavier. So there will be a situation that no more water can be pushed up. So up to a particular limit, root pressure is functional. But beyond that, only root pressure is not enough for pushing water up in the plant, especially in huge trees. So there we need another force, which is pulling force. This is pushing force, this is pulling force. What is that pull? Transpiration pull. How does transpiration pull work? So let us see. If this is a tree, from root the xylem is making a continuous column till it reaches the leaves. So suppose if I am drawing one leaf, a large here, okay. So what happens? Inside, in the form of midrib, the xylem is again going inside. So it's not only xylem, always phloem is also there adjacent to xylem. But now we are mentioning only about transport of water. So from the leaf, you know, lower surface of the leaf has got stomata. So what happens? Water is going out in the form of water vapor. And we call that process as transpiration. Right? The loss of water in the form of water vapor is called a transpiration. So when more and more water goes out of the leaf, a tension is created in the leaf, a water tension, because leaf doesn't get water. So in that situation, from where the leaf can take water? From the xylem, because xylem has water. So the leaf cells will take water from the xylem. So more water will be pulled up in the xylem. So that will add to taking in of more water from the soil. So the transpiration pull, that is from here like a pulling, we are pulling it up. Okay, so when more and more transpiration takes place, more and more water is taken inside the xylem or conducted upward in the xylem. So transpiration is helpful for conduction of water upward in the plants. What is the other function of transpiration? Transpiration helps in regulation of temperature in plants. Because we know whenever there is evaporation, there is cooling effect, evaporative cooling. So plant cools down during transpiration. So let us sum up. Transport of water in plants has got two stages. Absorption of water. First, from the soil, minerals in the form of ions are taken up actively. Followed by that, water will also flow inside the roots. That is called absorption. Then, as more and more water comes in, it will create a pressure in the water column called root pressure, which will push the water upward. But it is possible only up to a limit. There is another major force acting in plants for upward conduction, that is transpiration pull. When water is lost from the leaves during transpiration, a tension is created in the leaf which will pull more water in the xylem column. As a result, there is a continuous flow of water in the xylem and upward conduction takes place. So, root pressure and transpiration pull are the major forces in plants for conduction of water. But during daytime, which is more effective? Transpiration pull. But at night, there is no transpiration. So as a result, root pressure will be playing a major role. When we talk about transport of food, one important definition we have to study, that is about translocation. That is transport of soluble products of photosynthesis through phloem. It's very simple. Let us see. Soluble product of photosynthesis. We know if the food is in the form of solid substance, it cannot be passed on through the plant. It is difficult. But it is once mixed in the water, in a soluble form, it is easy to transport. That's it. So usually the product of photosynthesis is sucrose. It is a sugar, okay. So the sucrose is soluble in water. So the food is transferred in the form of sucrose soluble in water, okay. Through which component? Phloem. So this process is called translocation. Now before we discuss in detail the process of transport of food, we have to be familiar with the two terminologies. One source, other one sink. Source is the place where food is produced or available. Once photosynthesis is over, where is food available? In the leaves. So leaf is acting as the source, whereas roots are the sink. There is no food in the root. So from the source, food should be translocated to root for storage. Now later at a stage, if there is a season, maybe autumn season, where plant or the tree sheds all the leaves. Now there is no food available on top of the plant. Now the stored food from the root should go up. Or there is new parts coming up on top, like flowers or fruits or seeds, they need nutrition. So those parts are now acting as the sink. Now which is the source? Root is the source. So depending on the conditions, the source and sink keep changing. In xylem conduction it was not like that. It was always from soil through the roots to the leaves. But here it keeps on changing, source and sink, so the direction of flow is in both the directions. So translocation through phloem is mainly active. Active, now we know it is involving energy. So now I have drawn both the xylem and phloem here. Xylem is drawn with a blue line and red color indicates phloem. So they both are from root till they reach the leaf. It is like a single column running parallel like hollow tubes. So through xylem, water and minerals are going up. Through phloem, food is conducted. So imagine it is reaching a leaf here. So I am just drawing a leaf. It's not actually, it's one leaf. They branch and rebranch to enter into different leaves. So I am just showing one leaf as an example. Suppose here are the leaf cells. So photosynthesis happens and what is produced? Sucrose is produced. Now the photosynthetic product or the sucrose is now moved to the phloem. How can it be moved to the phloem? Actively, by spending ATP. So once the sucrose comes inside, the sucrose is acting as solute. Now the concentration is increasing or the condition is becoming hypertonic. So whenever there is hypertonic condition, water will move in. So here which is the nearest source of water? Xylem. So from xylem, water will move inside the phloem by osmosis to compensate the hypertonic condition. So already sucrose was there. Now water also came in. Sucrose got dissolved in water. So altogether what happens? Pressure increases. The content is becoming high. So the pressure will increase. So here in the phloem now there is high pressure. Now where is pressure low? In the roots there is no pressure. So less pressure in the root cells. So now what happens? And as I mentioned, this is the source now and here is the sink now. Okay. From source, now the food and water together is dissolved form of sucrose will now move down through the phloem and it will reach the roots. On reaching the roots, again the cells will actively take up the sucrose inside the root cells and store it there in the form of starch, whereas water will now go back to xylem. Again the water can go up. Okay, so this is how the conduction is happening downwards. Now later at a stage, if the plant wants to transport it upwards, then what happens? Again, the sucrose will be loaded onto the phloem actively. Then concentration will increase. To compensate that, water from the xylem will go here. Now the pressure is high here, less pressure on top where food is required. So from source, now this is the source, here is the sink, it will go in the opposite direction. Okay, so let us summarize. The food in the plant is transported through phloem in the form of soluble product of photosynthesis, that is called a translocation. It is as sucrose. Once the sucrose is prepared in the leaf, it is translocated into phloem actively. So the concentration increases. To compensate that, water from the xylem will also move into phloem. So pressure increases. In the roots pressure is less, so the food will move down to the root through phloem. On reaching the roots, the sucrose will go to the cell, whereas water will move back to xylem. Okay, so this is how transport of food occurs in plants. Hope you understood transportation in plants well. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel, Biology, My Passion.